Good afternoon. My name is Blake Hall, and I'm the founder and CEO of ID.me. Next to me is Steve Smith, who leads our strategic partnerships. Steve and I were both Army officers, infantry officers, which is another way of saying that we volunteered to let people shoot at us. So if there's one thing that you know about us, it's that we have questionable judgment, and we're worse together. But we just raised a $19 million Series B led by FTV Capital, and we were named the most disruptive company in payments by Payments.gov last month, so we have at least a few redeeming qualities. I want to talk about what does a physical ID card do for you? When I was in the military, I could use this credential across different sectors of the economy for different things. I could get a retail discount from Home Depot, I could open up a bank account, I could get access to a military base, I could access my DoD email through PKI through this single credential. Do digital logins work that way, where trusted logins are portable and user-centric across different sectors of the website or different sectors of the economy and different websites to prove who you are? And the answer is no. Digital identity systems today are organized around enterprises, not around consumers. And the result is that each one of you in the audience today manages over 100 different logins. And as any security expert would tell you, to keep those logins secure, make sure that you create a new, strong, hard-to-remember password for each one of them, change them frequently, and you're all set. And of course, that's not possible unless you're a supercomputer. So ID.me's Identity Gateway solves that problem. We streamline identity verification for legal identity, KYC, and other attributes one time at any organization where the user visits, and then they can bring their identity with them. We happen to be one of 4 companies in the United States of America that's certified by the federal government to issue a login that represents legal identity, and that's really important. Last year, the VA became the first federal agency to completely outsource login, identity proofing, and multi-factor authentication in an open way so that individuals have control of the login and the associated data and not the enterprise, and they did that through ID.me's platform. Now, the VA is not just for military and service members, although they are at the heart of the VA's mission. They also need to credential physicians, their legal identity, and their healthcare provider status as they're interacting with veterans, their employees through PKI, caretakers who have powers of attorney over those veterans, and ID.me's platform can fulfill all of those use cases. If you look at the login screen here, I want to really highlight some of the differentiated capabilities. You'll see that Google is an option to start the login process. Now, Google is not good at letting us establish trust in who that user is, but they do meet the minimum federal standards for a knowledge-based authenticator in terms of email and password. So we don't require that an individual create an email and password directly with ID.me if they would prefer to use an account with Google that already meets the requirement. Similarly, DS Logon is the DoD's single sign-on. Millions of veterans were using DS Logon to access VA apps. Unfortunately, that login doesn't conform to the federal government's standards for identity for healthcare. So the VA was caught in a dilemma. How do I upgrade millions of accounts that veterans are using without making them start over from scratch? ID.me said, no problem. We'll accept DS Logon to begin the login process, and then we'll add identity proofing and multi-factor authentication, including FIDO U2F capabilities, on top of it to modularly upgrade that login so that it's federally approved and secure without making veterans start all over again. So in this case, I'm going to start the process with Google. I'm already signed into my Gmail, so it's going to be very fast, as it's intended to be. And I go through a few screens. Now, in the background, we've pre-integrated a lot of different vendors that you're familiar with: Experian, Trulioo, ThreatMetrix, Experian FraudNet, Payphone, Authentics, Telesign. They're all working in the background. And when I log into the VA, at a very basic level, if I'm just creating a profile and saving information, I don't need to do identity proofing for initial registration, so there's a lightweight way to start the process. It's only when I try to interact with a healthcare provider or to apply for benefits where that government agency needs to establish trust in my legal identity to make sure that they're dealing with the appropriate individual. So in that case, when I click Verify My Account, we're now prompting the identity proofing process. And again, we're using vendors that you are familiar with, but the difference is that once this individual has verified their legal identity and created a strong login, any financial services entity or healthcare organization that accepts ID.me can allow that individual to meet KYC requirements and to transmit all of their PII in just 3 clicks. So in this case, I click, yes, I have my ID. I'm going to take a picture of my government-issued identity document. There's only 2 steps we have to type. It's to enter your phone number and your SSN. So for mobile devices, that's very slick. Please switch to the view of my mobile device. So here you'll see that I got the text message on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and upload a photo and submit. Okay, you can go back to the laptop now. And so again, none of this is new. What's new is that once the login has been created, why would somebody have to go through this process again with a financial services company when they've already gone through a federally accredited process at a federal agency? And this process has been so successful that we have about half the United States government integrating us right now. I can't name all the agencies, or else I'll get in trouble. But some of the largest organizations that are involved with critical services from healthcare to revenue collection and so on and so forth. So after I enter my social here, I'm going to complete the process. I'm in a staging environment to mask some of my PII, but if you actually want to audit the flow directly, you can go to Vets.gov and actually go through the legal identity proofing process directly. Check my phone number. My identity has been verified. It happened that fast. We've fingerprinted the device in the background by verifying the SIM, and that's how we set MFA on the initial enrollment. So right now, I can send my legal identity to the VA. Remember that initial example where I said my military ID was useful in other contexts? Well, here's an example of Ford where I can actually go over to Ford's website and I can use the same ID for a retail discount and a rebate at Ford with Troop ID. The point is, if you're a small credit union or community bank, you can use ID-Meet outsource login, identity proofing, and regulatory compliance. And we encourage all of you to come visit us at our booth. Thank you very much.